Hey, you guys, it's Shelly with Adjacent, and we got a special promo for you guys. We are releasing a new episode called Conspiracy Farm with our friend Vincent LeCornu, and you guys may remember him. We interviewed him earlier this year, and we're going to share that in the notes, a link to his podcast, and where Jody and I interview him. And people were blown away by his episode and have asked us about it a lot. And we were like, Vincent, you have to have your own podcast. So here we are. We are aiming for his first episode to be dropped May 4th. And so, but he has a lot of topics he's going to be discussing. And I know they include archaeology, Jonathan Lubbock. What else you got? Vincent?
Well, our next episode will be details about a murder that occurred in 1950s that there are government records of. The case was actually mentioned in front of Congress by an Air Force officer recently. It was a case where non-human intelligence, meaning aliens, killed an Air Force officer quite brutally in the 1950s in where else? New Mexico. So then we'll do an episode about my name, for example. That's another one. LeCornu, it's a strange name, and has a history that goes back to the Middle Ages. And I had an interesting experience with my DNA test on that. We'll do an episode about angels, of course, ghosts. The Civil War was much worse than you thought. We will talk about the Roman Empire, but in the sense of, are we the Roman Empire? Are we falling? What does that mean? Why do we see those similarities? I have, we call it the Conspiracy Farm for a reason. You actually grow things at farms. I have some conspiracies of my own that I think might need to be talked about. And one is corruption in physics. I do think that there's some evidence that string theory may have been, to boil it down, a CIA operation, and that a lot of theoretical physics has actually been distorted by, as you'd say, the powers that be. I wanted to do a couple of story ones too. Also, like the time I saw a ghost, what it was like being a security guard for a sorority, cattle mutilations, and American-made UFOs. Some of the UFOs people see are actually secret American aircraft. The moon landing. Talking about JFK and the JFK assassination, of course. We're going to talk about DUMBs, DUMBs. Those are deep underground military bases. And apparently there's a lot of those. And the personnel that work at some of these DUMBs can be quite exotic. And then there's weird incidents in history that reflect something I think important about our culture. And this is the last one I'll mention. There's an incident in the 5th century BC called the mutilation of the Herms, HERMS. Yeah. And the Herms were little statues. And I don't know that people know that democratic Athens, once Athens became a democracy, immediately started trying to take over all of the other Greek speaking states because they could to liberate them, I guess. But so they raised a huge army and a navy, and they tried to invade Sicily, that Syracuse at the time, and it failed miserably. But there was a lot of political debate, and one person tried to settle the debate by breaking off a particular body part off of every statue or particular deity in the city, and it was considered so sacrilegious that people were executed over it. I think the whole incident is just bizarre because people forget that in the ancient world that the body parts that they revered, that they thought were the source of goodness and life, were the opposite of the ones we tend to revere in our culture. It was the Greco-Roman world was what you would call an androcentric culture, because they believed that life came from the father, not the mother, that the woman was analogous to the field that the seed was planted in. See what I mean? So where this good soil, of course, can affect the quality of a crop, right? But the actual, core life. Yeah. Now we know that they're they're way wrong. They took it way too far on the male side. That it's like, guys, no, that's not really how biology works. But anyway, I think there are certain weird things about ancient culture that I think people would be fascinated by because it says something about our culture. That's what makes it important. Is does it have something to say about our future? Those are just a few of the ideas I had.
That's right. And one of the things we've discussed is you're an overthinker.
Yes.
And you'll be overthinking. You're going to share your overthinks. And while people are being tinkered with, and
yes. we are all being tinkered with.
Exactly.
Possibly.
And so we can't wait to share the conspiracy farm with you guys. Enjoy the ride. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Shelly. See y'all later.